John aka Chicken Fillets here. Now if you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know this next fact. However, if you're new to the channel, well, I am basically a handheld gamer. So I'll play all my JRPGs pretty much exclusively handheld. Now I've been playing handhelds for a good time. Now I'm talking about from the Sega Game Gear when it first got released all the way up until the Steam Deck. But out of all these handhelds that I've played, well, what are the 5 best to play JRPGs on? Smooth segue. So yes, there you go. That is the topic for today's video. The 5 best... Let's try again. The 5 best handhelds to play JRPGs on. Now before we get cracking on, if you like JRPGs, handheld gaming, and a wee Scottish guy talking about it, please consider subscribing to the channel. Now without further ado, let's get cracking on. What was that? The Nintendo 3DS, which was released all the way back in 2011. Now for me, I have popped this in the number 5 spot, although I feel that a lot of people will differ with this choice being here. Because let's be quite frank, the Nintendo 3DS is a utter machine when it comes to JRPGs. The Nintendo 3DS having a plethora of JRPGs, the likes of the Pokemon series, you have Fire Emblem, you have Bravely Default, the Mario and Luigi RPG series, and more. So the question that you'll probably be asking is, well, why is it number 5 on this list? Now for me, I didn't really get into the Nintendo DS, the Nintendo 3DS for that matter, until after the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch made me want to look back into Nintendo's past and made me want to play the Nintendo 3DS. The weird fact with this is that I got my 3DS, a 3DS XL, passed down to me from my mum, of all people. Mother Fillets has actually got a pretty decent sized 3DS and DS collection. And before you ask, no, she's not into JRPGs. The 3DS is a cracking system for JRPGs, I just haven't fully embraced it as much as many people have because of the other handhelds which are on this list. Speaking of, the Sony PSP. The first Sony handheld, which was released back in Japan in 2004 and the rest of the world in 2005. And yes, for those followers of the channel, yes, James from The Review Ting has given up on the PSP. Now the Sony PSP is filled to the absolute brim with JRPGs. JRPGs which come straight off the top of my head for this handheld is the likes of Crisis Core, Star Ocean, Disgaea, and also Valkyrie Profile. The other thing with this handheld is that you were able to upload your PlayStation 1 classics onto this, so for me the longest time this was how I played Final Fantasy on a handheld console. Now for my JRPG / gaming journey, the PSP is very important to me because if it weren't for the likes of Crisis Core, I wouldn't have tried other types of JRPGs. I was stuck in my ways that JRPGs needed to be turn-based, where Crisis Core helped me break that. So why is it in this position? Well, the PSP, as great as it is, wasn't the favourite out of all the handhelds that I have played. I felt that there has been stronger handhelds released. But if you are a fan of the PSP, let me know what your thoughts are, and if your name is James from The Review Ting, please don't leave your thoughts.
Hi Froggy, remember to subscribe to the channel.
The Sony PS Vita, which was originally released in 2011 Japan and the rest of the world in 2012. By far, the Sony PS Vita is one of the most superior handhelds out in the market. And especially for JRPGs, this had a plethora of games out there. It had the likes of The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2. You had Persona 4 Golden, which was a console seller. You had Falcom releasing other titles on this, the likes of the Ys series with Memories of Celceta and Lacrimosa of Dana, amongst loads of indie JRPGs as well. Straight off the top of my head, Cosmic Star Heroine being one of them. Again, another selling point similar to the likes of the PSP is that you could have your Sony PS1 classics uploaded to this machine, and also you got PSP classic titles that you could also have on this system. Sony really dropped the ball with the PS Vita, and it's been down to the community to keep this handheld alive. My PS Vita has gone around the world with me when I've gone on holidays. It has always been in my backpack when I went to work. It has brought me so many happy memories, and this is why I absolutely love the PS Vita for JRPGs, and I really think it is one of the best handhelds for it. I like the Vita so much that for a good while I was just happy with this, and I wasn't really bothered about getting the next pick. Speaking of, the Nintendo Switch, which was released back in 2017. The Nintendo Switch is an absolute dream when it comes to JRPGs, with a lot of Nintendo exclusive JRPGs on the platform. I'm talking about the likes of Fire Emblem, where you have Fire Emblem Three Houses, Fire Emblem Engage, and also Xenoblade Chronicles. Other titles which spring to mind, where you have the likes of Falcom releasing yet again Ys, the Trails of Cold Steel series 1, 2 and 3 in other regions of the world, where you also have in my region, the PAL region, you got 3 and 4. The amount of Atelier games that you've got access to as well, on a physical format as well, you can have this in your physical collection. And there was a plethora of indie JRPGs to get your hands on, one favourite of mine being Crosscode. The hybrid nature of this console makes this a fan favourite amongst gamers, being able to take it on the go and then throw it on your big screen TV. The Nintendo Switch for me is what defines JRPG gaming, and it really has made my life as a JRPG player so much easier, especially with my busy lifestyle. It's something that I'm able just to sit on the sofa, I'm able to take this to work, I'm able to take it on holiday, and this is why handheld gaming is so important to me. Now, for the longest time, if I were to do this list a few months back, this would have definitely been in the number 1 spot, but you can probably guess by now what is in the number 1 spot on this list.
This is Steam Deck.
This Steam Deck, which was released back in 2022. Now, you may have noticed by the title of this video that I've left the word console out of this because I'm talking purely handhelds. Now, the reason for this is because, well, the Steam Deck is a handheld PC. Now, yes, I've only had the Steam Deck for a short time, but I am so impressed with this piece of kit. Now, with the previous entries on this list, I discussed, well, the games which were related to said consoles. So, for example, I mentioned Xenoblade Chronicles with the Nintendo Switch. However, the Steam Deck has the Steam library. You have access to pretty much nearly every PC game available on that platform. Some titles which I thought I would never be able to play handheld, I've now played. The likes of Final Fantasy 15, which is one of my top 5 Final Fantasy games, well, I've now completed that handheld. Another example, Persona 3 Reload, which I'm currently playing at the time of recording, well, I'm playing this on the Steam Deck, where currently it's not available on any other handheld. What I mean by this, realistically, is the Nintendo Switch. Atlas skipped this. Many other titles that I didn't think I would be able to play handheld. I'm going to bring up Final Fantasy 13. That is available to play on the Steam Deck. Another Final Fantasy which currently at the moment it's stuck on the Xbox 360 and the PS3, but I can now play this handheld on Steam Deck. Now yes, before I get onto my next little statement, I am aware that all the handheld consoles that I have mentioned on this video, they do have a form of emulation that you can run on these systems. However, what I have been told by various people who have this Steam Deck, well, this is an excellent machine to run pretty much everything you can think of. And this sort of aspect really excites me because there's a lot of games which I missed out on when growing up. For example, on the PlayStation 2, there's many JRPGs. I'll give you an example, Shadow Hearts. I've not played that, and I don't have the time to sit down, hook up my PS2, etc. But I might be able to emulate this on the Steam Deck. One thing I am still coming to terms with the Steam Deck is that, well, my physical collecting, it does not exist with that because it's an all-digital platform. So yes, there's always pros and cons with these sort of things. But yes, as bold as it could be putting this at the number 1 spot, I really do think that the Steam Deck is one of the best handhelds when you're looking to play a JRPG. So there we have it, those are the 5 best handhelds to play JRPGs on. What were your thoughts on this list? What are your top 5? You know what to do by now. Leave a comment down below. Now if you like what you're hearing and seeing on this channel, well, please help me grow it by liking, sharing and subscribing. And if you want to be kept up to date with everything Chicken Fillets, you know what to do. Hit that notification bell. This has been John, aka Chicken Fillets, and until next time, tatty bye.